Hi everyone, welcome to Why Yoga at Home. This is another short session. It'll be about 15 minutes and it's going to be focusing on the deep core. So it's called Pilates for the deep core. So we're going to begin lying down on our backs. So lie down in a comfortable bent knee position, just letting your feet lay flat on the floor. And I want you to bring your hands around your hips, just kind of in line where your hip creases are. And then go up, so slide your hands up about another maybe inch or so, and just see if you can start to feel the front of your pelvic bones. It may take a little bit of kind of gentle poking. Don't poke too hard. And when you think, or you're pretty sure that you've felt those bones, then I want you to take a nice deep breath and think about breathing into your lungs, expanding your ribs. And then on your exhale, draw those front pelvic bones in. You're not changing the shape of your spine or anything. You're just feeling, you're imagining pulling those pelvic bones, or sometimes called the hip bones, in. And then inhale again, breathing up into your lungs, rib cage. So you're not letting the breath go into your belly. And then on your exhale, like you have a seat belt around your low abdomen and you're trying to fasten it. Let's do that one more time. So breathing in, expand the rib cage, and then exhale. Hug the hip bones, the pelvic bones in, hold. Now you're going to continue to hold that feeling of hugging in, and every time you inhale, breathe into the rib cage. Every exhale, just reinforce that hugging in. Now at the same time, walk your hands up until you feel your bottom ribs and just think about pulling them together as well. So essentially like pulling two seat belts. Now, bring your arms down along your sides. Take a breath in, and on your exhale, lift up one leg and then the other leg, coming into a table. Now, you may need to just press into your low back or feel like you're bringing the low back down if you have arched, right? So you just want to bring the low back down towards the floor. And then you're going to lace your hands and press your hands against your right knee. Now, every inhale, breathe into the ribs. Every exhale, hug the pelvic bones, the ribs in, and then send your left leg away and bring it in. Send your left leg away and bring it in. So when your leg goes away, make sure that you don't have any more space underneath of your low back. Give me two more. Can you push right knee and hands into one another even more? And again, left leg away, left leg in. Now switch, so your hands are pushing against your left leg, and we send the right leg out and in. So every time your leg goes out, again, think about touching the back of your belly button to the floor. Keep the front ribs, those pelvic bones hugging in, and we get two more. Push a little bit harder, left knee into hands, and out and in. Now bring your hands behind your legs for a moment, breathe in, and as you exhale, curl your head and upper back off of the floor. And now you're going to pull your right knee in and send the left leg out. Now we're coming into our single leg stretch for Pilates, and we're going to change. This is actually a little bit easier than the hand position, pushing into the knee, and you're bringing your knee in a little bit closer, but the same concept of continually toning the abdominals and pressing the low back towards the floor. So in Pilates, we call that an imprint. You don't have to force it by any means. For me, it's not going to happen. It's just a feeling of that pulling down into the floor. Okay, let's do one more on the right, one more on the left. Bring two knees in, and then just go ahead and lower your head down. Bring your legs back into your tabletop. Let's take a breath in to prepare. So breathing into the rib cage. Exhale, hug the hip bones, the ribs in, press back into the floor through the low back, lace your hands. And now you're going to try to get your hands onto both legs. So it's like you're trying to push your legs out towards the wall and your knees back into your hands. Whew. So it's a little harder doing both legs at the same time. Now, do take your legs away from your hands and then push them back in. Don't let your knees get any closer. Your hands are saying like, no way. And then take your legs away and then back in. Push into your hands. 3 more. Legs away, push it back in. Legs away, get that deep scoop through the abdominals and into the hands. 1 more. Shoot the legs out and in. Now, hold on behind your legs. Curl forward as you exhale. Now we're going to pull those knees in a little closer for our double leg stretch. So we shoot the arms back, legs out, circle the arms around, pull the knees in. And let's go a little faster. Inhale. And we exhale. Can you keep some of your concentration on the inhale and exhale? So the inhale into the rib cage, the exhale reinforce abdominals. 4 more. Curl up a little higher. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Put your head and your feet down. Step your feet about hip distance. Now bring one of your hands over your belly button. Start to pull your belly button down to the floor. And now think about flattening your low back and then tuck your hips under into a posterior tilt. Notice that your abdomen just kind of got like concave. So if rain was falling from the ceiling, it could collect like a bowl right in that deep groove or that scoop of your abdomen. Now put your arms down. Keep that position of the low back in the hips. And now the ceiling is starting to pull your hips up higher. The back of your belly button is still on the floor. Now the hips are pulling stronger and they lift you up into your bridge. Breathe in. Now roll just about halfway down. The hips are still stuck to the ceiling, but the back of your belly button is touching the floor. So we're only rolling about halfway down. Now press back up. Keep your belly pulling down to the floor and then roll down to the back of the belly button. So you're not losing that feeling of the abdominals hugging in and the scoop of the belly. 2 more. Lift your hips and lower. So we don't want those ribs to thrust. We want to keep them knitting in as well as the pelvic bones. And then we go up 1 more time. Lift, pause. Now the floor wants the belly button back, right? So it's already pulling you down, but your hips are pressing up. Now as slowly as you can, come all the way down. It's actually nice to lift the arms up because then you can get that really nice articulation. Okay, now you're going to flip over to your hands and your knees. Come down to your elbows and lace your hands. Now remember that position we were just in bridge with the scoop of the belly and the lifting of the hips? So I want you to feel like you're bridging your hips down towards the floor and the ceiling is pulling the back of your belly button up to the ceiling. So you're getting that deep scoop. Your upper back and head just remain in neutral. Now keep that and send one leg back, tuck the toes, push through that foot to send the other leg back. Try to bridge your hips down and scoop up through the belly. Pull the pelvic bones, the rib bones in at the front. Okay, now the first leg that you stepped back, can you step it back in? And then the second leg. Let's go. Second leg first. Push that foot into the floor, feel the scoop, and then step back. Now this one we're going to hold longer. Okay, breathe. You are not breathing into the abdomen. You're breathing into the rib cage and pulling the belly in and up. Shoulders out of the ears. Push as much of the floor away as you can for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. And then sit yourself back real quick. Just release any tension through your hands. Definitely important to release your abdomen after you hug it in for so long. It's not healthy to keep your abs pulled in all that time. Okay, so we're going to come on to our side. Now, if you recall so far, all of our pulling in has been from the front to the back. Now, we're going to be adding on the side up into the back or into the spine. So lay on your side onto your forearm and then already feel your pelvic bones and your ribs knitting in. And then feel that underneath side drawing up towards your spine. So you make a nice, almost like a bridge there underneath of you. Send your top arm into the air. And then from the lift from that underneath side, lift your hips up and lower. And we lift up and lower. Up and down. Up and down. We got 4 more. Up, down, 3. So you're not thrusting anything out at the front. It's still pulling in from the front, but you're pulling in from that underneath side. 2, 1, come down. Now, sit up a little higher and step that same hand away from you. I've got maybe, I don't know, like an arm distance or a little less than an arm distance away. And you're going to step your top foot to the floor. So you're in this kind of almost like a clam situation with your legs. Now draw that bottom shoulder back, squeeze at the back of the armpit, abdominals in, and we're going to lift up from that underneath side again. Can you lift and just hover your hips? 3, 2, 1, tap down, lift up. So from the front and the side, we hug in and down. Now this one, let's see how it goes. Could you possibly shoot your legs out and lift up into a full side plank? And you can stagger your feet and then come down to that hip hover, and we come back up and over the bottom shoulder. And we lower. If you need to come back to that very first variation on the forearm and the elbow, go ahead. Okay, final one. Lift up here, hold, and then little tiny hip dips. So the hips come down, but then they change their mind and they go back up. Okay, feel the front and that bottom side hugging in. 3, 2, 1. Oh, come on down. Let's take a little stretch, maybe a nice circle of your arm that you were just on. And we're going to do everything on the other side. So let's just start real basic. Elbow under shoulder. And we're going to hug in at the front and the underneath side, arm up into the air, and then feel so much lift from that underneath side that your hips come up, and then you tap down. So again, abdominals pull in from the front and from the underneath side. Think about hugging the front and the side in towards your spine. And then we lift up, hold, and come on down. Now, let's change our position. So your top foot steps out in front of your bottom ankle. Step your hand out. Again, you can adjust how far your hand is away from you. But again, it's like, I don't know, like an arm's length. And then you're going to roll your shoulder back and really squeeze that armpit. Now make sure your mat is not too slippery. And then you're going to lift your bottom hip up and then tap it down and up and down. Now let's see if this one we can come up, shoot those legs out, and then bend your knees and come down to the hover. And we go up and over and to the hover. If you need to come all the way down, go ahead. We come up and over and lower. Now this one, we're gonna hold, find your balance, feel that deep lift from underneath, and we take those little hip pulses up. Squeeze the back of your armpit. Okay, we got 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we come all the way down, and just gonna side bend out of that arm we were just on, a few windmill arms, and final one. Really good. Okay, we're gonna finish with a little planking. I'm gonna suggest that you do this straight arms and on your hands, but you could always do this on your forearms if your wrists are not happy with that. So place both of your hands beneath your shoulders, and I want you to tuck your pelvis a little bit, just like we did bridging, and feel that deep scoop, that concave shape through your abdomen. Knit your front ribs, pull your pelvic bones in towards one another. Shoulders down, push the floor away like you're trying to push a heavy door open, and then step one foot and the other foot back. Put a teeny tiny little micro bend in your elbows for me. Lengthen your head forward, heels back. Now, we're gonna round the whole spine, slide your right knee in, come back to where you just were, but lift that right leg up for our back, front support. And then we're gonna flex the spine, pull the knee in. This is just like our single leg stretch. And then we send the leg back and up without arching the back. And we pull the knee in and we send it back. Hug the abdominals in to prevent any arching through the back. 2 more. Right knee in, push leg back and up. Right knee in, push leg back and up, plank. Ready for the second side? So left knee in, flex, and then leg back and up. Lift from your glute. And round, let's make sure we're breathing, and then lift your leg. 3 more. Flex, pull the knee in, and extend the hip. Take the leg up, and in with the knee, and up with the leg. Final one. Whew, it's like a marathon plank. And lift 2 legs, regular plank. Take that little posterior tuck of the hips, belly in, 3, 2, 1, and take a moment, sit back. And we're gonna come up to sit on our heels. Sweep those arms back behind, lace your hands, lift your chest up. Release, shake your hands out. And that is it for our Pilates for Deep Core. Thank you so much.